Wow, what a morning. I'd like to bring a moment of breathing before we move on to finding out who is our next leadership and the results of the elections, which have been concluded, and I see that the tellers are here, so we'll hear from them very soon. But I would like to take a few moments to, first of all, thank Romania once again, for hosting us. You've done a fabulous job. Our members have expressed to me their satisfaction with the entire organization, with how of course, the premises have given us the possibility to work very well. We are extremely pleased with the work of the Romanian Parliament, so thank you very much to all the people who have worked. We've had 225 members of parliament participating, 54 countries, two Mediterranean partners, Israel and Morocco, and more than 650 participants to this conference, because there are also accompanying people and staff and technical support. So I think we are a very big family, and I'm very proud of the work we've done in the last 5 days. I think this was a very successful annual session. It's been a very successful annual session from the point of view of the content. We've just heard all the resolutions that you've passed. I mean, I will not list them all, but there's been, of course, documents passed on the aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine, artificial intelligence, weaponization of sexual violence, preventing corruption, anti-Semitism, migration, preventing human trafficking. I think this assembly, who represents 1 billion citizens of the OSCE region from Vancouver to Vladivostok, has expressed itself, has expressed the will of the people on these issues. And now the next step is that these points will be presented to the foreign ministers before they meet in Valletta at the end of the year, to also hear from the people, from the representative of the people, what are the voices, the opinions, the positions of parliamentarians on all these issues. I think it has been also a successful annual session, apart from the content and the political resolutions, but also from the side events. I think there's in the last years, we've seen a proliferation of side events. I think we should welcome them, because it shows interest of individual MPs or groups to bring up issues that cannot be debated only in the plenaries because of our also rules of procedure. Sometimes they're a little bit constraining the debate, but in the side events, we've seen a lot of very good discussions, a lot of very good interactions between members. There are also a lot of other activities proliferating around our assembly. The youth network is becoming stronger and stronger and having a lot of activities. There is an OSCE running club. There's been amazing receptions that you have organized. The one in the gardens was very beautiful, apart from the Italian debacle, let's say, the football, but that's a side comment. But it was very much a very nice moment for members on the first day to get together, also socially. The event that you did in this mansion outside Bucharest was informal, with music, with the possibility of members to interacting. And I think this is also the value of this assembly. It's not just the document and the declaration that we've passed, but it's also the friendship, the connections, going across the aisle and creating network between yourselves. I think this is a forum for parliamentarians to discuss issues, but also to create networks between yourselves. And I think you've really used this possibility to the maximum. The OSCE comes out of Bucharest very strong, in my opinion, very strong politically because of the document, because Madam President has been re-elected president for the next year, especially in a year when Finland is becoming the chairmanship. So we will have also a Finnish president of the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly. Madam President, also you have managed to bring here politics at the center of this assembly, but also a calmer atmosphere and more focused on doing work, doing politics, and not so much focusing on administrative issues. And for that, I personally thank you, but I think also the members thank you, because we're much more focused now on political issues. I think you have also had a very principled positions on many of the issues regarding the Secretariat, and I think this should be recognized for you. I think we also have an iconic moment yesterday when Ben Cardi was recognized, a person who served the Assembly for many years. And I particularly would like to mention that because I think we value our members not only when they are active members. I think showing respect also to the members when they go, to the members once they left. I know there was some disappointment with some former presidents being here. I don't want to get into that, but I think we are a family, and also when we serve, but also when we are left Parliament, it's good that we create this network, of course, with the different roles, and whoever is former has to have the delicate approach not to interfere with our proceedings. But I think we will have to make some adjustments on that, but I think it's good to keep this network of friends, whether you are currently serving, whether you are for a moment not serving and come back later, because it's a network of parliamentarians which focus on issues of security in this big region and can contribute whether they are active or not active. I think we come out of this assembly also financially stronger. We've heard before from the chairman in office the challenges that the OSCE has in passing a budget. The OSCE has not had a budget for 3 years because there is a consensus vote in the OSCE governmental side of the organization. And so for 3 years, they're still using the old budget of 4 years ago with allotments every month. Here in this Parliamentary Assembly, we've passed a budget with some increases. And I would like to publicly thank our Treasurer, Jan Buza, for finding a very good compromise between those who said, no increases, those who said we want to see serious cuts and some economies. I think during this month, he has been several times in Copenhagen together with Madam President. We've talked, we've looked at the figures. We're still talking about a very small budget of 4 million, but yet we've managed to do a very good adjustments there, and I think the fact that nobody objected to it in the period when the budget was public from May, and then it was unanimously adopted here at the Standing Committee is a testimony to your great work, Johan, and to the very good cooperation that you've had also with Gustavo Pallares and Stephen Paul in our secretariat who work with our finances. So thank you very much on that. When we talk about finance, I have to also thank Austria and Denmark for hosting our offices, Italy for seconding staff, Germany for seconding staff, Estonia, San Marino, Iceland, and forgive me if I forget another one, who have decided to increase their contribution to 10,000 euro, which was called in a resolution years ago. A particular mention to Luxembourg, who has given us substantial, let's say, extra budgetary contribution to focus on a project in Southeast Europe, so I thank you for that. And as we talk about administration and finance also, I'd like to thank the Standing Committee last year for making a decision to introduce in the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly a performance, financial, professional audit. We used to have only financial audit in the past, and now we have extended it to personal, professional. And the auditor, as you heard from the treasurer in February, has given us an excellent report. So we will keep on doing this type of audit for the next years, because it's good to make sure that also the way we administer the taxpayers' money is absolutely checked by professionals who can give us also advice if adjustments need to be made. So thank you very much for that. From an administrative point of view, so we come out stronger politically, financially, but also administratively. The Standing Committee on Saturday re-elected me as your Secretary General. I thank them now for the first time I see you all, so I'm overwhelmed, of course, by this expression of support, by the unanimous decision of the Bureau to reappoint me. It was moving for me. It's a great honor to serve you as your Secretary General. And it also, I said it in the Standing Committee, I think I have to say it to you as well, it came after 2 years of very big difficulties in my professional but also personal life. I've had a lot of challenges during the last 2 years, but as the French say, reculer pour mieux sauter. No? You make a 2-step backwards to jump better. And I think that now we are back on the rise, and the challenges we've had, both professionally but especially personally, have been overcome. So I like to move on towards a better future. This success with my re-election, as I said it also at the Standing Committee, is a recognition of the work of the International Secretariat. I think that your appreciation for the work of my colleagues is always very clearly made to me after they have been on an election observation mission or on a mission of a committee or when they accompany a special representative, those who have organized this annual session. So I think we all agree that the International Secretariat is doing an excellent work with very limited resources. There is always room for improvement, but I think they need a hand of support from you for the great work that has been done so far. Thank you very much, Gustavo, who represents all the staff here. I won't mention all of them. I know you're anxious for the result. I'll take a little bit more of your patience to say one word about the OSCE. We've had this, the chairman in office here in the room. I don't know if he is here. I recognize the chairman in office. The OSCE is going through some challenges, of course. Malta has issued vacancies to appoint 4 apical positions in the organization. We hope that consensus will be found in order to find a new Secretary General, a new ODIHR Director, a new High Commissioner for National Minorities, and a new representative on media freedom. This is very important because this organization needs these independent institutions to carry out its mandate. So we wish the chairman in office all the best in this, and whatever the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly can do in coordination with you to support that process, we will of course not fail to support you. The last word is to thank also all the countries who have come forth, because I've talked about those who have contributed, but I think hosting an event is a huge contribution. So I'd like to thank the upcoming chairs of Ireland, who will host our next autumn meeting, Portugal for the next annual session, San Marino, Netherlands, Andorra, the intention of Italy to host the annual session in 2027, the United States, and Luxembourg was also interested in organizing the next annual session maybe in 2028. So as you can see, in the past we had challenges in finding venues. Now we have secured almost until 2028. And this is one of my biggest responsibilities. My responsibility is to find 2 countries every year to have our meetings. We are not the Council of Europe, whereas in Strasbourg it's hemicycle and can have the meetings. So every year I have to find 1 country is willing to host the annual session and 1 is willing to host the autumn meeting. Having secured it until 28, I think it's also a great testimony from you of the appreciation you have for the organization and for the work of the Secretariat. In conclusion, I would like to say a few words of recognition for a few members, and I would like to invite them to come to the podium. One is Kari Eriksson, who is leaving the Assembly. She's served as Vice President. She's served as Special Coordinator of many elections, Kari, please, and Presidential Candidate. So, Kari, please come here. She's leaving not Parliament, but this Assembly. And, of course, a special recognition to Dan Barna. I don't know, where is he? Please. And Madam President, if all of you can come down here on the podium. Of course, Dan Barna is also leaving the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly because he's been elected European parliamentarian. And we thank you for organizing this event, and we will have a little moment for you here. I think I've exhausted my long speech, but I would like to say once again that it's for me a big honor to serve you. Sometimes we are speaking too much. Sometimes we are trying to be to do our best to meet your needs, to meet your different wishes. Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we do it successfully. Please bear with us. We do it with our heart, and we try to do the best we can to serve you. Thank you very much, Madam President. We have something to give. Unless you want to say something, I can just.
I will. Let me take my notes.
I just want to say thank you for all the friendship and all the hard work that you as politicians every day put forward to make the world a better place. And we are needed more than ever to make the right choices in these challenging times. I wish you all the best and good luck with your further work. Thank you.
Mrs. President, dear colleagues, dear friends, it was really an honor for me to host this 31st annual session of the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly in Bucharest. In these 5 days, we sent important messages condemning the unprovoked unjustified and illegal war of aggression against Ukraine. We spoke about the appalling violation of human rights and about the importance of OSCE parliamentary assemblance institutions in Ukraine by documenting the situation and by taking steps to relevant program for supporting human rights on the ground. We are also discussed about the spillover effect of the war and about other challenges it brought in areas such as hybrid attacks, energy, or food security. Republic of Moldova, its challenges and its firm resolution toward the European path were also under our scrutiny. Equally important, this assembly showed its concern about gender issue, minorities, or the dramatic situations in the Middle East. I think that the final declarations reflect, in the end, the balanced and comprehensive manner, in a balanced and comprehensive manner, our work, and I think it offers solid base for our future activities. Most of all, we are sending together a strong message that the OSCE and its institutions remain in these challenging times more relevant than ever. We need to support them and to support constructive solutions against the current difficulties in the electing high-level officials and in adopting a budget. Their work must be carried on full speed ahead. Dear colleagues, I was elected in the European Parliament, Roberto mentioned this, and this annual session marked the very last days of my mandate as member of the Romanian Parliament and also as OSCE head of the Romanian delegations in the Parliamentary Assembly. I'd like to point out that being part of OSCE Parliamentary Assembly and co-organizing this session, it has been a tremendous but a very rewarding work for me. I'm still a bit emotional even in the end of the event. The Assembly is doing a fantastic job in promoting security, human rights, democracy, the rule of law for more than 1 billion people. More than 1 billion people are directly affected of our activity. I'm going to the European Parliament firmly determined to build upon this fabulous experience and keep hope to keep the connection with the OSCE. Thank you. Thank you very much to all of the delegations for being present in Bucharest and for your friendship and for your constructive approach on really sensitive issues we saw on even in this final meeting. I also thank you to our Dutch colleagues, even they show no empathy to our enthusiasm last night in football match. I also thanks a lot to our organizing committee from the Chambers of Deputies and the Senate, because they succeeded to fix and create a really good event, and I hope you appreciated it, and I consider their effort quite remarkable. The International Secretariat, proven to be, again, serious, responsive, trustworthy, and it was a pleasure and an honor to have a very good cooperation, and congrats, dear friends, for your efforts. It was quite important, and we appreciate it. Thank you, Roberto, for being here constant, and thank you, Pia, for proving to be the president these organizations needed. So you succeeded in not simple time and in not simple context to run this house in a very smart and balanced manner. Congrats and thank you very much.